this trade deadline, every year I get excited for it, and every year I'm let down. You know what I mean? It's like they always tell you all the potential trades that could happen, and they never do. It's like Joe Hayden's on the trade block. Sheldon Richardson's on the trade block. Who else? Who else was even? Cameron Wake was on the trade block, apparently. Joe Thomas was...
Joe Staley.
Joe Staley. Torrey Smith. So many big-name players, and we got one decent trade out of the whole ordeal. Jamie Collins was traded from the New England Patriots to the Cleveland Browns for a compensatory third-round pick. Now, what a compensatory pick means is it's going to come at the end of the round. A compensatory pick is earned by losing players in the offseason before and not really making up for it through free agency or trades. So basically, when the Browns lost like Alex Mack and some of their big names players last year and they didn't make up for it, the league for the next season gives them a pick in return. The third-round pick's the best you can get because the Browns had about as awful as you could get of an offseason. So this pick, instead of being at the very beginning of the round, like where the Browns will actually be drafting, is going to be at the very end of the round. So instead of getting like a 65th overall pick for the Patriots, they might be getting like a 97th pick in the draft. So that is what they got back for their Pro Bowl linebacker, Jamie Collins. What are your thoughts on the trade, Noah?
I think it's a good trade for the Browns. They get a solid defender, and I mean, yeah, they give up a little bit, but I mean, it's a pick at the end of the third round, and that pick actually, last I saw, hasn't been confirmed to be given to them yet. So if they don't, if they aren't given that pick to give to the Patriots, then they'll give the Patriots a fourth-round pick, which is literally the same exact thing.
It's pretty much the same pick.
So, yeah, I think it's a good trade for the Browns. It's also good for the Patriots because they can do wonders with draft picks, and they always stock them up, so they'll have a great draft again. So I think it's good for both teams.
So I really like this trade from the perspective of the Browns. They have so much money to give out. I believe right now I read they have $47 million in cap space right now. And then at the end of this season going into next year, they'll have about $57 million. So they have plenty of money to give a new contract to Jamie Collins. His contract is running out at the end of this year, and he will be a free agent. He was demanding too much money, which is why the Patriots moved him in the first place, similar to what happened with Chandler Jones. It's a big-name guy who's going to get paid, and they didn't want to give out the paycheck, so they moved him. Like I said, for the Browns, this is good. We were saying how they needed more playmakers on their defensive side of the ball. Now imagine they have Joe Hayden at corner. He's a good corner. Mm-hmm. He's been off a little bit these last couple of years, but when you have literally no pass rush, it's hard to be a corner in the NFL. Yeah. So let's say they get a guy like Myles Garrett in the first round of the draft. Now you have a good pass rusher, a good linebacker, and he's a hybrid linebacker where he can blitz and he can play in coverage. He's good at both. And you have Joe Hayden. Now you have some pieces to work with there in Cleveland.
Yeah, and especially with them losing D'Qwell Jackson this past season to the Colts, adding Jamie Collins, it's pretty much a break
even. It's an upgrade.
Break even. A little bit of an upgrade, I guess, because Jamie Collins is younger. So yeah, I could see that being an upgrade. I don't know. I just think it's a good trade for them. Like you said, if they go in the draft and they take another good defensive player, their defense is going to be upgraded a lot. And as we've discussed earlier in the show and in past shows, we've said that getting somebody who's a star on defense, like a Von Miller, like a Luke Kuechly, they make the rest of the defense look better, and they also actually improve the defense because the rest of those players want to play at a higher level to keep up with the star. So I think the Browns did a good thing here. They get a really good player in return for
a mid-round
pick. So yeah, I think it's a good trade, and I also think it's interesting. If we go back to August, the Browns traded Barkevious Mingo to the Patriots in return for a 5th-round pick. So if you look at this trade, if you took these two trades and combined them as one, it's almost...
You're swapping pass rushers.
Yeah, but I would say the Browns win this trade because
yeah.
They get Jamie Collins, who's a nice, really good young player, and a 5th-round pick, which, I mean, it's not great, but it's not terrible.
Right.
And the Patriots, it is a good trade for them, getting Barkevious Mingo and a 3rd-round pick. Mingo hasn't really done too much for them this year. He's kind of been a bust, honestly, going number 6 overall in the 2013 draft. So I think the Browns do get the better end of this, sort of like a combo deal. So yeah, I think the Browns did really good.
And the Browns have plenty of picks to use. They're going to have the first or second pick in pretty much every single round in the draft coming up. They also have those picks from their trade they made last year with the Eagles, dealing them the second overall pick for Carson Wentz. So the Browns are going to be loaded with picks. This is a pick they don't even officially have yet that they gave away to the Patriots. They're really not losing much. I mean, sure, it would have been nice for them to pretty much pick back-to-back at the end of the third, beginning of the fourth, but you're hoping with a 90-something overall pick, you can even get anywhere near what Jamie Collins gives you as a player.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He's a multiple-time Pro Bowl linebacker. It's hard to find that in the mid-rounds, and if you do, you feel like you struck gold. So if all you're doing is just giving up one of those picks that you don't even really have yet, so it's not like you're losing a whole lot, for a guy like Jamie Collins, you're certainly getting a good end of the deal. For the Patriots, I'm not really sure how I feel about it yet. He was probably, at least in my opinion, their best defensive player on the team right now after having traded Chandler Jones in the offseason to the Arizona Cardinals. They're such a good team that I don't know how much his presence, leaving the field, is going to really affect them. They've done great in trades before where they usually get guys out of their system a year or two before they should, but it allows them to not overpay or end up suffering a big contract problem where there's a guy underperforming when he's getting overpaid. They never really have that problem because they typically get out of the situations early. The only thing is, they look like they're prime position to make a Super Bowl run, and they just got rid of probably their best defensive player. So I don't really know how I feel about it from their end, but I definitely think the Browns won this trade as long as Collins plays well in Cleveland. What's interesting is he's leaving a Super Bowl contending team for the worst team in the league. Is that motivational factor still going to be there? And maybe it is because he's about to get paid. So let's say he gets his big contract. Is he still going to want to play at that same level he played for a Super Bowl contending team, hungry for a contract, on a team that's currently 0-8 when he's paid?
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. And before I kind of answer that question, I just think it's interesting how the Patriots, we've seen since 2002 with Drew Bledsoe, they've released a number of star players and have still performed at an elite level. Looking, as you said, Chandler Jones this year, and last season, Vince Wilfork they let go. They still have a great defense after losing all or both of those guys, and we'll see after.
And Revis left in free agency.
Regis left. So I mean, the Patriots they've proven that if they get rid of a guy, they're going to be fine.
And that also makes me think. Well, Chandler Jones, let me backtrack. Chandler Jones is doing great in Arizona, though. He's one of the better pass rushers in the league again this year. So I feel like that's a legitimate loss for the Patriots. Has it really been seen that much? Not really. They're still dominating. But that makes me wonder, is Jamie Collins a system player? Or is he an elite linebacker that's going to go to Cleveland and really help them bolster a bad defense?
Yeah, I mean, we're not really sure. But your question earlier, Jamie Collins going to the Browns, would his drive be there? Would his passion, I guess, be there? And I don't know. I mean, Jamie Collins is a younger guy than D'Qwell Jackson, but D'Qwell Jackson went to the Colts because he openly said that he wanted to go somewhere where he knew he could win, where he would have a good quarterback and be able to win a championship. So I don't know. I mean, Jamie Collins being a younger player, maybe he's still got that drive to try and make the team better. Hopefully he does. But, I mean, you just never know.
Well, for the sake of the Cleveland Browns, I really do hope that he ends up playing well for them. They really could use it. They need anything they can get at this point, and I really think that they're starting to put some building blocks in place, especially if they put the franchise tag on Collins and they could maybe give a big contract to Terrell Pryor in the offseason. They're putting the right building blocks in place to have a really good young core moving forward. So that's all we have there on the trade deadline. Nothing else really happened worth note, just the big Jamie Collins trade that went down yesterday. So when we come back, we're going to talk about our midseason awards here through Week 8 around the NFL. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.